Check 1, 2, hello. Level check, level check. What's up, gang? How's it going? Been a while. Give things a few minutes to warm up here, and then we'll do our ASMR beer crack and get into this in a couple minutes. Looking all proper today. Quatch, what up? How's it going? Mickey Shoe. Was tuned into the repeaters earlier and they started talking about Jesus, so I turned them off. Let's check into the net, or at least monitor and see what's going on.
Okay, I think I got it all sorted out here. K9
Oh, do you really? Hell yeah, did you get all the oscillators oscillating? I guess there's just one, but yeah. Jesus.
New Mexico with traffic. K3QLT Longmont with traffic. Any other stations?
Oh yeah. SA602 and LM386. That's the guts right there. Nargle's very upset because I took her headphone cable away from her because she wanted to eat it. So I was flapping it all around, getting things lined up, and she bounced.
Hi, Kilo Echo Zero, Romeo Quebec Alpha, Springs, NK3K. Welcome back on the air, Steve. You're sounding good. From Callahan, both with no traffic. Any additional stations, over?
Yeah, those 602s, they're kind of fucky sometimes. Hot Bobby, what up? Switch over here.
I thought I keyed up on top of somebody. Okay, W1UWC, go ahead and list your traffic, please, over.
So many circuits that people have made with those. They're such useful little things. Yeah, this is probably pretty close to what you build here. Little input circuit. 602. This is kind of interesting because it's got a it's using a backwards diode as a variable capacitance there. Kind of neat. Oh, neat. Let's take a look. Well-designed little power circuit there. AC or battery. Yeah. Don't need it, but it's there.
One for Paoli, Indiana.
Yeah, this does the same thing with the reverse bias for diode.
Okay, one for Indiana. All right.
Varicap looks there. That's cool. Man, those are such good little chips. I've got a few. We should build something. Beep! What up, Beep? Here you go, just for you, Beep.
Okay, this is WA3 Every Net Control for K2NTS Colorado Traffic Net. Any additional stations with or without traffic, over?
Let's turn that beep level up to max.
This is the Colorado connection.
Now we're at maximum beep. Okay. So where are we? I guess we should start it off. Thank you. I appreciate it. I can get real wacky with it. This is my radio preset when I'm sending audio to the actual radios, because I don't need anything but mid-range. This is slightly less extreme with a little different curve here. Better for like chit chat.
K0 FPS calling KG.
And then I can go back to my regular EQ and compressor.
K0 FPS, KG5LFK. Good evening.
Take a look here.
Please copy message number 2510. Routine. Hotel X-ray is golf. November
Oh, some nice
5,
hacks here.
Sierra Echo. The check is 19 from Bowie.
Yeah, I like this. I like this.
24.
A little bit of basic filtering with some capacitors. This is interesting.
Go text on reset.
I dig it. I dig it. Oh, speaking of kits,
Text as
let's go over to the bad place for a second, and I'll
I spell Foxtrot, Oscar,
give you all a quick look at a kit that we're gonna build on stream here pretty soon. Hang on.
Figure 7290 traffic net. X-ray. We hope you will join us again soon.
Yeah, they're passing traffic. Cute. All right, let's see. I gotta find that posting here. Give me a second.
If you don't need no fills, I guess that's all I got for you, Roger.
Looking for the post. Looking for the post.
510 and appreciate the message from the traffic net. Back to net control, K0 FBS.
Oh, before we do that, okay, I found it. Some graph. All right, so the breakdown is that there's been massive ham drama in the past 2 weeks or so. So there's this program that's called WSJT. I have it here on my computer, and it has a mode that lets you basically just click a mouse button and you can make a contact with a station. It's very low effort. So lately, some people have written some auto hotkey scripts to basically automatically click that button. So you can literally walk away and your computer will just work whatever stations show up. So this is their this is their countermeasure towards this. So you have auto hotkey clicking these buttons, cancel and OK, and look what the buttons do. They found the code too. It randomly moves the OK and cancel buttons around in an attempt to break scripting. And basically everybody is just laughing at them as if that will stop anybody. So yeah, you can see the two randomly placed instances there. Yeah, it's extremely old school, but K1JT, the guy that wrote it, people will respect him as though he were some sort of god. Because he won a Nobel Prize in like 1992 or something, for some, I forget even for what. So they are all like, but this is written by a Nobel Prize winner. It's got to be the perfect software. Meanwhile, the dude is like, yeah, yeah, he's like 9,000 years old now. And he knows nothing of software. So my big problem with him is that he claims that this is open source software. And anytime anybody forks it to add any features, he basically tells the community to not use that version and to use the official program. And he never merges any changes that people make on forks back into the main stream. So basically, it's not open source. The only code that goes in there is what he personally approves and personally writes, even though people have written some really good add-ons and some good modifications for it. So Joe Taylor's a bit of an old geezer. It's not cool. I wish somebody else would take over the software project. I'm not saying that he doesn't have excellent chops as far as like signal analysis and signal theory and stuff like that. What I'm saying is that he's terrible at running an open source software project. Is it public source, not open? Possibly, yeah. That's just the binaries. Yeah. So there's a bunch of drama. People have found the literal block of code that moves the buttons around. Yeah, and they've already written a patch to take that out. And the thing is that it's a new release, so people can either use the old release and have that not be a thing, or he's going to have to somehow break the actual signal codec and the actual protocol in order to force people to upgrade to this. And that would be a tremendously shitty thing to do, to just break it and make people have to upgrade for no technical reason other than they have to be on this particular version. And even that doesn't matter because you can get the source for it, so you can just compile your own version without the mouse button movie thing. And that would not even be an issue if people use something like Sakuli, or I think even AutoHotkey can actually look at the buttons and find the one that's named OK and then click on that. And then all of his measures are for naught. So what I think they should do, rather than try to break this stuff in this stupid way, is that they should roll the auto contact code into this and make it a feature. However, they should add like a bit or something to the data that's transmitted to signify that this was done automatically. And that way all of the like contest orgs and stuff like that, the people that give out the actual certificates, could differentiate between a manual and an automatic contact. That would be the sane thing to do, but I know he'll never do that. So that's my thought of how to solve this problem forever. That would hamstring all of the like script writers and all the auto hotkey nerds that are writing scripts, because nobody would care about that if they could make auto ones with the like, you know, plain vanilla package. So we'll see kind of which way it goes. But so far he's getting a lot of negative feedback from this change. So we'll have to see. Hey, we got 8 people in the squad. Very nice. So are y'all ready for the comedy beer? I'm not saying this is good, but I was at the 7-Eleven downtown because I had to get smokes before I hit the bus. And they have full-strength beers in gas stations now. So I have the big old can of Stupid. Oh yeah. So this has significantly different dimensions from our average tall boy here. So I'm expecting a little bit different tone and timbre on the crack here. So I'm going to go ahead and let's do our ASMR beer crack with the Fosters and see how this turns out here. You ready? Ooh, that's throaty. Good lower mid-range. I like it. That is not very good beer. Wow. All right, so I will not be speaking in an Australian accent tonight. Do not worry. Oh, man. I haven't had this in so long. So it's considerably more bitter than a lot of American macros. Might be good on like a really hot day, which makes sense because Australia is like 98% like shithole desert. So I can see where that might be refreshing after you've gone out and like mowed the desert or whatever. So I see where there's probably a spot for this. I doubt anybody down there actually drinks it. Don't they drink VB or something like that down there? Yeah, they had 2 kinds. Not sure. I think they have an ale and a lager. Yeah, VB is the most popular. Yeah, here we are. What I was talking about earlier, speaking of kits. So this is really interesting. This is an automatic antenna tuner that somebody has made up. I'm trying to find a picture of it. So what this does is this sits between your shortwave rig and your antenna, and it will automatically switch in capacitors and inductors so that you have a good match and you can actually use the antenna on whatever frequency. I'll take a quick look here. I'm not going to turn audio up because it's in Russian. Wonder if they have no subs. Sad. So this is a kit that that somebody has whipped up. And somebody here in the States is doing a group buy, basically, with all the parts you need. So those are the circuit boards for it. They basically pieced this together from just random AliExpress parts. Yeah, we're going to be playing with the inductor values on this because the stock values of all the coils are pretty shitty. So we're going to be hacking on it a little bit. But, you know, comes with a bunch of parts. This is obviously their kind of group buy build. You can see he's soldering it all up here. He actually has a nice zoom camera there. Nice good close-ups on his soldering. Watch him do a couple joints here. Yeah, that's my jam right there. And winding the coils. This is where we're going to be deviating from the spec. Oh yeah, this is the old trick for winding precise air core coils. You get the exact drill bit that you want that has just the right diameter. So he's got a bunch of cute little coils there. And yeah, we're going to be taking some windings off of some of these and adding extras to the others, so on and so forth. And here he is testing out the final built thing. Not in a case, but... very cute little 1.8 OLED. Yaesu 450. Those are pretty cool radios. Can't wait to hack on the firmware on this. And of course, this dude is extremely Russian. So, anyways, they're piecing together a group buy for this. They're saying about 70 to 75 bucks a piece. So I put myself on the list, and we're gonna, once we get our parts in, it's probably gonna be a month or so, if not longer. But after we get our parts for this, we're gonna build it up, and then we're gonna start hacking on it and see if we can improve it. Really, the big thing is that somebody has pieced together all the relays and built the circuit boards or got the circuit boards printed. That's the big pain in the ass. Right on, nice. So, yeah, we're going to build up the ATU 100. And I don't really have a need for it. My radios all have internal tuners. I've got lots of external tuners. Even my little 703 has an internal tuner. I don't really have a need for it. I just figured it'd be a fun project, and I want to kind of support it, just to get the group buy out there so people can start hacking on it and modifying the values of all the components, yada yada, and get it kind of polished up. So I'm kind of buying into like version 1 beta here, but I'm excited about it. So that'll be pretty interesting. Boy howdy. Yeah. It's not too bad, I guess. I mean, I could probably pound it pretty rapidly. And I'm wondering how functional this particular like aspect ratio of can would be for just shotgunning. Yeah, I totally understand that. I can get my 7300 auto tuner clicking pretty good here. Let's see. If I go down to I don't even think it will do anything on. No, it's not even going to try 75 meters. I'll try 40 meters. Let me move that mic up and see. Yeah, you can hear like some of the relays firing off, but this already has all the tunings remembered for all the bands that I use this on, so not much I can do to kind of force it into that. But I know what you're talking about because just like all those relays clicking so fast. Oh yeah, the LDGs. Yeah, Schrodinger's Cat 5 has one of those to go with his 817. Yeah. He also has the full power one, the AT200 Pro 2 or whatever it is, you know, with the nice bar graph meters on top and all that. It's pretty nice. I dig it. Gotcha. So I have ale versus lager. Yeah, I've always seen the blue cans. I figured I'd grab this one and mix it up. And I paid downtown Denver prices for it, but it's fine. It's whatever. Ooh, interesting. Man, I wish I had a ruler around here we could figure out diameter, because it's possible that may be a better cantenna than the classic Pringles can. Interesting. I can also make it into a bong, yeah. You can also turn beer cans into shortwave verticals. So what you can do is you get a bunch of cans. Let's just say we're just working with 12-ounce cans, right? And you just get a box full of sheet metal screws and a long screwdriver. And so what you do is you finish a beer, and then you finish another beer. You stack them on top of each other, and then you put a screw on the end of your screwdriver, and you put it down into the bottom of the top can and run it down into the top of the bottom can, basically, and hold them together. So it's an interesting theory because you need people to drink beer as the antenna gets longer. Now, this is also interesting because shortwave propagation during the day requires a shorter antenna than the bands that work at night. So this could dovetail perfectly, where if you got people drinking and emptying cans of beer at the correct rate, you could start out with like an 8-foot vertical at the middle of the day and work 10 meters. As the afternoon went on, you get another 8 feet on there from another, 10 cans or whatever, and now you can work 20 meters. And as you add more cans on, it works at lower and lower frequencies. So your antenna would work better as the night went on, assuming that you had a squad continuing to empty beer cans for you. So that'd be a pretty entertaining thing to do. Yeah. And actually, a antenna made of stacked beer cans would probably work pretty well, because it's aluminum, and RF only travels on the very outside of metal conductors anyways, so you don't care that the cans are thin, and they're large diameter, and the larger diameter your antenna element is, the wider bandwidth it has. Yep, exactly. You'd have a nice broadband antenna that covers like all of 40 meters, and it would be, environmentally green because you could just crush it, and recycle it when you're done. It's summertime, got to think about brews. Yeah. Good stuff. So, you could also depending on the dimensions of the can, you could even just use a pair of cans and just feed them as a dipole. The coax shield goes to one and the center conductor goes to the other, and have a 2-meter antenna or something. Basically like a VHF, UHF that would work at extremely high frequencies, like relative to shortwave and stuff. But it would be very wide bandwidth. It would work over a large range of frequencies. So that might be pretty fun. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if we can marathon a case of Coors Light. Well, I know I can marathon a case of Coors Light in one day, but yeah, let's make it a kind of communal exercise and see what we can do. Absolutely. So yeah, as y'all have noticed, I have mixed up the zcast schedule a little bit. So what had happened was a bunch of IRL shit intruded, and I've also been doing a lot of work at work lately, and I've been extremely busy. and I just haven't been able to give the proper attention to the stream that I'd like. So I'm thinking that it's better that I go back to 2 nights a week, like when we started, versus trying to squeeze in 3 sessions and make them kind of short and, those little shitty 90-minute things. And my ex calls and I get all pissed off and have to, like, sign off and all that. So we're going to go back to the Thursday, Saturday schedule for a little bit. I think there's a bunch of stuff going on Wednesdays for people. So we're going to stick with Thursday and Saturday for now. This is interesting because next week I am traveling to fair San Francisco. I hate that city more than anything, but I love my friends out there. It is for a work trip, so it's whatevs. But we are going to be zcasting on schedule out there. I'm going to bring just enough gear out that I can run a stream. Fortunately, I am lucky enough to have corporate apartments there that I'll be staying in while I'm out there. So we're going to have a little stream. I'm going to just bring a laptop with a webcam and then have another camera alongside. And I'm also bringing some radios. So we're going to be playing radio. Yeah. So the kit right now, and we will go into a breakdown. I'm going to do a little bit of a gear review here in a minute because I bought a box to put all this shit in. But we're going to bring my Icom 703. That's my 10 watt shortwave rig. It's got a built-in tuner, so I can basically get whatever wire I can find hanging off the window. And with any luck, I will get the 6th floor apartment. We have ones on 3, 4, and 6 there. So if I'm on the 6th floor, I'm 60 feet above basically sea level, because the apartment's down on, it's down by like 3rd and Brandon, basically. It's like right close to the east side of the peninsula, but it's very close to sea level. So any prominence is going to help a whole lot. And I'm only like 4 blocks from the ocean, which is like actually very good for radio. Salt water is an amazing conductor. So it's super efficient if you can get near the water. So with any luck, I'll have an antenna 60 feet up, close to the water, and able to make some contacts. So what I'm thinking of with this is I'm going to bring my radio, which has a built-in tuner. I get a little battery pack, and I also have a little wall adapter that I can just run off of AC current. And I was trying to figure out what I was going to do for an antenna, because these do have balconies with metal railings. So I've been like pondering that, Ooh, corn sounds good. Yeah, it's time for corn. Ooh. Anyways, we'll talk about corn in a bit. So I was trying to figure out how to bring a good antenna out there. And I have like a 17-foot whip. But unfortunately, it doesn't fit in the box that I've chosen for all my radio gear. It's a little bit too long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring about 50 feet of very thin wire. It's 26 gauge, so it's thinner than the conductor inside a Cat 5 strand. And once I get there, I'm going to go down to a pawn shop, and I'm going to buy the shittiest 8-foot fishing pole that they have. And that's going to be my like vertical antenna element, and I'm going to just run a wire through it, maybe hang a little bit off the end, and then just feed that, like clamp it to the like metal balcony railing, and then use that for my antenna. And I suspect that I should be able to get it working. I have high hopes for it, so it'll be a lot of fun to kind of experiment, see if I can get things running. So that's the plan. I'm going to just go buy a $15 pawn shop fishing pole, and I'll probably just leave it in the apartment when I go. But that was like the best solution that I could figure out for how do you get a long, somewhat flexible, somewhat unobtrusive pole in downtown San Francisco. I know there's any number of jokes that could be made here, but we're actually talking about fishing poles here. Anyways, so one of the things that I got to kind of facilitate all this, let's do a little bit of gear review here. I'm going to move my keyboard off to the side, and let's pull the camera back a little bit. I'm going to move my mic too. Somewhere around there. Okay. Man, you can really tell the different angles. Just change the EQ. So what I've got here is the Nanuk, Nanuk 935. And this is basically a Pelican clone. And it's kind of hard to see because the lighting gets a little weird, but I'm sure you all can work with me. So, this is a nice case. It's about 8 inches deep, like 14 inches wide, and then like 20 or 22 inches long. It's actually carry-on sized, but I am going to be checking it. I've got a little tiny TSA lock here that pops red when it's been inspected. Yeah, I know. I got the extreme orange. This is like some like shit you'd put like fracking gear in or something like that. But it has some nice latches. It has like this triple action latch here. Check it out. So you pull this down, and then that comes out. Very nice feel on these. 2 lock holes, one on either side. And it's kind of neat because it has a couple of stops. And then it just comes with your standard. There's like 3 layers of foam here. There's like a little 1/2 inch layer here, and then a couple of 2 inches. Something like that. So I gotta basically shoehorn all my gear in here. Got a nice padded top here. Yeah, I dropped about 120 on this. It'll still be super useful for carrying like a portable setup. But I love it. And what's nice is the latches, once they're unlatched, that little triple action thing keeps them open, so they don't get in the way when you're trying to close it. So you have to like hold those down, snap it back closed. Yeah, and it's got wheels and it's got the pull handle, so I can just drag it behind me after I get there. So yeah, that's my new gearbox. You get the little ICOM in there, battery pack. Actually, the battery pack has to go in my carry-on luggage because they fucking hate batteries in checked luggage. So yeah, I'm excited about that. It's going to be an interesting kind of engineering thing to see if I can turn a fishing pole and a little bit of wire into a functional shortwave antenna. So, but yeah, they had a couple different colors. They had the yellow, they had the neon green, as well as black and gray and stuff like that. But I like the orange. And yeah, I got to figure out this lock here. It's not very sturdy, but it's enough to keep people out of it. And it does have the little indicator there that pops out if the TSA pops it with their lock. It's kind of interesting because I actually do write reviews and answer questions on my Amazon purchases, and one of the things that I've answered quite a few questions on is my battery pack, which is it's a lithium-ion kind of all-in-one type thing. The cells are built in, and it just has a charger port, and then a 12-volt out, and then a USB out, and a little battery gauge on it. And it turns out that people use those for CPAPs all the time because I've answered questions from like 3 or 4 people at this point that want to like go camping and want their CPAP to run all night. And they're like, hey, is this going to have like enough power to run it all night? So I sit down and I do the math, and I'm like, hey, tell me the current draw on the back of your CPAP. And then we do the math and say, okay, so after 12 hours of running your CPAP at 100% duty cycle, it'll be down to 30%. So that's kind of your upper limit. And usually they write back and say, hey, I went ahead and tried this and it ran great. So it's really nice that even though like I use it strictly for radio stuff, that I'm helping people that otherwise might not be able to go camping kind of get out there in the woods and enjoy a night. Yeah, the NFED is not a bad idea. I could build, like, I've got ferrite cores. We're talking about the PAR NFED antenna, and these are very, very simple. It's just a little tiny box and a length of wire. And they're actually pretty well regarded. And you can build your own little transformer box. It would look something like that. I might do that tomorrow night, just so I have like a second option for messing around. So that's a good mention for sure. I could do a 9-to-1. I want to say some of these actually go for like a 27-to-1 or something like that, or like this one's a 64-to-1 even. So yeah, there's different options, and like honestly, I could just bring a chunk of wire and a ferrite and just try different configurations. Yeah. Fortunately, this thing has a tuner that tunes anything 3-to-1. That's the big advantage of the ICOM 703. I freaking love that little radio. And that hinge is getting stiff. Oh, it's because I had some tape going on. But yeah, that radio is 10 watts, but it has a built-in antenna tuner. So it should be able to shave down whatever that NFED gives to me to a usable thing. And obviously, I just plan to operate digital modes. I'm not going to make any voice contacts with 10 watts and, urban SF. But maybe I can eke out a little bit of digital. That'd be a whole lot of fun. So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited to try. I've brought HTs out there. The repeater scene seems pretty snoozy out there, which is weird because they got so many tech lords and so many old just like the Silicon Valley old nerds and stuff. I would expect more chatter out there. So we're gonna try HF this time. See if we can get any goodies. See if we can get any fun going on. Yeah, I know it's the past, but so is like handlebar mustaches and like fixie bikes. Right? Good call. Should've let you finish. Yeah, exactly. Who the hell uses radio anymore? Let me get on 4G and stream some video. Radio is dead, man. So, got a couple of HTs that I'm considering bringing along with me here. Let's take a look at these. First one, I know I'm going to be bringing this thing out. So those of you that know ham rigs know what this is. This is the Yaesu VX3R. I paid $30 for this because the case was broken on eBay, and I wrote Yaesu support, and I was like, I need a case for a VX3R. How much is it? I was like expecting like $35 or $40, and old Wanda, I remember her name. It was Wanda. Emailed me back from Yaesu America support, and like, that'll be $2.75 plus postage. And I was like, sold. So I actually took this radio, ripped all the guts out, put it in a new case, and it works perfectly. So it's really cool because it uses these very standard NP60 camera batteries. So you can buy these batteries. They're rechargeable. You can buy them off of Amazon for like 3 for $10. Like, they're literally just commodity dirt fucking cheap. So it's really easy to keep these things in just days and days of batteries. But yeah, I love this little guy. It's a dual band 1 watt handheld. It also I can remember how to work it here. Also has AM and FM, and honestly, I use it for AM and FM more than anything, because with an antenna hooked up, obviously I don't have one on here now, but with an antenna hooked up, this is my little NPR box, so I can just listen to public radio. It even has AM. Basically $70,000 a year. There's KOA 850. Less than what he was in line for, about a $15 million per year wide receiver. So yeah, if you want a little bit of sports talk, a little bit of NPR, this thing is great. It'll run for like 20 hours off of 1 battery charge, and I've got 3 batteries for it. Just built super tough. Love these things. They're very ubiquitous these days. It's neat because you can't turn the tuning knob until you pull it out. So it's great for just keeping in your pocket, and you pop that knob down and you can't accidentally change the station. Love the VX3R. Very, very strongly recommended that everybody have one of those kind of hanging out. This old guy, man, this is classic 1992 dual band ham rig. This is the ICOM 24AT. Bought this off of Craigslist because it was dead. And I knew exactly what was wrong with it. So with these radios, these were built in an era where they were trying to add battery backup to these computer-controlled radios. Very simple CPUs in these things. And they were like, how do we keep the memories stored in these? And they came up with a solution that was basically, they took a tiny little 3-volt rechargeable button cell, and they just strapped it to the like VCC line on the chip. So whenever the radio was on, it would charge this battery up. Whenever the radio was off, all the other circuits would be turned off, but that little button cell would keep the memories stored in the CPU. So the problem is that after 15 or 20 years, or 30 in this radio's case, those little button cells would fail short, and they would be basically a short to ground. Now, this is not good when they're just strapped to the like plus V line for a CPU, because that means that it never gets the voltage needed to operate, and the radio is just sitting there dead. Yes, it's very much like the old SNES, like battery backups and stuff like that. So what you do is you buy one of these radios, and they, piss and moan, oh, this thing's dead, it doesn't work, yada, yada, yada. And you take it and you cut one of the lines to the little rechargeable battery inside. And if the radio springs back to life, that was the problem. That shorted battery was keeping things at 0 volts. And once you cut that circuit, it can pop up to 5 volts or 3.3 or whatever and actually operate. So I did that. I cut one of the lines, the radio started to work, and I was like, okay, cool. Now to find one of those batteries. Well, as it turns out, I don't have my BMW keys here, but mid-90s BMW key fobs used the exact same 3-volt rechargeable battery. And when you had your key in the ignition, the battery would recharge through a couple of little like pins, like kind of pogo pins. And fortunately, you can buy these batteries as replacements for your BMW key fob for like $2.99 on eBay. Dirt cheap. Everybody's got them. Be there in 2 days. So I bought a battery and I soldered it in, and sure enough, this thing works great. It's very cool. It has a classy old school LED. I love that amber. That's stock. I didn't change the colors on it at all. And this is a dual band radio. So it'll run on 440 or 2 meters. Really good performance, great sound. And what's cool about these, I don't have a screwdriver where I can pop the back case, but these are actually built with a motherboard-daughter board layout. So if you crack the back case on this, it has like a board on the very front here, and then it has a bunch of little tiny 1x2-inch circuit boards all parallel and kind of vertical here for the different parts of the radio, the different like oscillators and mixers and stuff, so that you can pull one out and fix it and then slide it back in. Extremely like early 90s, late 80s kind of design. Like they don't do that anymore. So this thing is literally chock full of little tiny circuit boards, and they're all hooked together with little tiny interconnects and stuff like that. And turn the light on and off. Really, really just, I mean, like that's an aluminum case. You could drive a truck over this thing and it'd be just fine. So yeah, that's some classic late 80s, early 90s dual bander here. You can even work satellites because these will do full duplex. Talk on one band while you're listening on the other. So I love this radio very much. I don't use it too much, but I have it around. The battery pack is actually just holds 6 AA's, so it's super convenient. You go buy a 20 pack of AA's and you can run this thing, or you can buy some like actual rechargeable batteries and run it forever basically. So that's the old ICOM 24AT. And we got the size difference and how much technology has advanced and kind of miniaturized. Pretty badass. The one I'm probably going to be bringing in, I love this handheld. This is the ICOM W32. And this has a groovy green backlight and key light. This is a true full duplex radio. So you can talk on one band and listen on the other at the same time. Also good for satellites. Like the other one. It's a little more refined. A lot of features, 99 memories per, has all the bells and whistles that you would want. This is built around like 98, 99, something like that. And one interesting thing about this is that you can plug a special cable into the headphone jack there and program this via computer, which is, oh my god, so convenient, so much faster than like punching things in. Like you can manually program it, and Memory 36 has this frequency and this PL tone and shit like that. Fuck that. You plug this into a computer, you load up Chirp, you program 100 memories at once, you are done. So it's old enough that it's a really high quality, good performing radio. And it's new enough that you can program it via computer. So this is like the ultimate sweet spot of handheld ham rigs for me. So I love this thing. I paid $50 for it like 8 years ago. I actually carry it around quite a bit. It's very good. I have 2 battery packs for it. This one is actually the original that had dead cells in it. I pried it open, replaced it with nickel metal hydride AA, soldered them back up, and then super glued it back together. And this thing will run for just days and days and days. Because, back then, all they had were NiCads. And now we have batteries that have like literally 3.5 to 4 times the capacity. So if you find an old radio that can take AA's, you can put the new cells in, and man, they will work well. They will run for freaking ever. It's so nice. So the advancement in battery tech has really helped out with that. So those are just a few of my HTs. Those are probably my 2 or 3 in the best condition. Obviously, back behind me, I've got a whole shelf full of various other ones. They all work. I don't have batteries in all of them, so on and so forth. A lot of them are kind of museum pieces, stuff like that. But those 3 are my daily drivers, for sure. So yeah, we're breaking down. I've had buddies that have had lipos explode and kind of go haywire. So I am kind of skittish about them. I just like nickel metal hydride. When I'm just trying to shine up one of these old radios. And an annoying thing is that those rechargeable AA cells are just like 0.5 millimeter larger diameter than a spec AA, like alkaline or whatever. So sometimes it's kind of hard to jam them all in the pack. But I get it working. Sometimes you need to shave a little bit of plastic off. I don't feel bad because I always buy the aftermarket battery packs. You can buy these just like empty cases for like $15. Yeah, grind them down a little bit. See, the problem with that is that if you grind them down with 2 adjacent cells, and I found this out the hard way, the case of the battery is basically covered in thin plastic, and if you break that plastic on two adjacent cells, there's a 1.5 volt difference between those 2 AA cases, and if they touch, they'll do welding current for a couple of seconds. So, not good. Take a look at one more since we're looking at all my HTs here. I got this thing never used in box with a dead battery. Somebody bought it and sat on it for 20 years. This is the ICOM 2G XAT. So this doesn't have any batteries in it right now. So let's do a little switcheroo, move some AA's over, fire this thing up. I love just kind of Tetrising all my little HTs back together. I think I have 13 right now. If you count like my portable CB and my scanners and stuff. Pull the cells out of this one. Now this is a third-party aftermarket pack, so it's not built quite as well as the other ones. But it still absolutely does the job. that, like that. And then the two halves just kind of snap together, kind of oddly. Bottom and then the top. There we go. There we go. Yeah. So this little guy here is just a 2-meter handheld. Extremely well built. Again, aluminum case. I've never screwed the back belt clip on. I still have it in the original plastic with the little tiny screws. So this thing is built like a brick shit house. This is like borderline commercial grade. This is probably like vintage, like 97, 98. A little bit older than my W32. But these are really, really nice radios. Interesting thing about this is that it has 7 watts output on high power. So it's a little bit louder, a little bit stronger than your average handheld, which is 5 watts. So this is what you want to carry if you're like in the backcountry, something like that. You don't care about dual band. You don't care about being able to listen to, you know, cops on the scanner or whatever. You just absolutely need a 2-way radio to, you know, call for help or whatever, or even just chat with your buddies. Something like this is going to be really good. You know, nice, solid, everything's weatherproof on it. Like, it's not waterproof, but you can splash this thing and it doesn't give a shit. So, very nice, you know, full-sized rig. Feels good in the hand, great knobs. Has the, you know, like separate volume and squelch knobs. Some people on the stream are big sticklers for that, and I tend to agree. Some of my radios don't have separate squelch controls. But, yeah, feels real good in the hand there. Takes a pet like nothing. So there's 2 kinds of squelch. Two kinds of squelch. One is just a noise squelch. And basically, as an FM signal, like right now, let me turn off scan. So an FM radio, these are FM, they use frequency modulation. An FM radio with no signal outputs pure white noise. It's relatively level and loud. And how normal squelch works is it listens for when the noise level decreases. And that actually means, kind of paradoxically, when you have a signal, the radio is going to output less audio than when there is no signal. So it just listens, and when things get quiet, it knows that there's a signal there. Yeah, Hell Night was tonight. I totally spaced about it until like 10 minutes ago. Be kind of interesting to see if we can work it from SF next week. We'll give it a shot. So yeah, the 2 types of squelch. You can kind of see on the top of the bar graph here. I also have what's called S meter squelch. And you see that little thing moving up and down across the S meter. Here, let me get my zoom on. So there's a little thingamabob on the top of the S meter there. And as I turn the knob up, that moves up, and as I turn it down, that moves down. All that means is that a signal below that level is not going to allow the radio to make sound. So this is good in like urban areas where you have a bunch of interference and stuff like that. You turn it up to like S5 or so, and that way random, you know, trucks driving by or random police broadcast, stuff like that, aren't going to like make your squelch sound like that, you know, or just randomly pops open. Cool. So we've had an awesome first hour of the Zcast here. I'm going to go get rid of a little bit of this Foster's. I'm going to be back, probably do a dab. Chit Chat Radio, maybe get on 40 meters a little bit. We'll see. Everybody hang tight for this special every episode is special. For this Thursday episode of the Zcast. Everybody hang tight. We'll be back in about 4 or 5 minutes. Stand by. Oh no, we lost a beep. That's okay, buddy. Thanks for hanging out anyways. Alright, back on the Zcast. On that Zcast tip. Oh, nice. Very good. Y'all want to see the bike that I'm going to see tomorrow? Maybe Saturday. So, it's year 2 of my motorcycle career, which means, of course, that I have to buy a new motorcycle, right? I'm going tomorrow. Look at this bad motherfucker. This is a 2002 Yamaha FZ1. We're staying in theme there. I'm very happy about that. So these were basically the sport touring version of the R series. So this is a Yamaha R1 with more upright seating position, bigger windshield, higher bars, and the ability to strap a fuckload of bags onto it. So this is going to be a pretty considerable upgrade if I do decide to buy it. No, I'm in no rush. So, I'm gonna kick the tires. I'm gonna be coy about it. Lowball them. Obviously, $3,000's a little bit steep for it. We're gonna see if we can get in 2,500 land for this. I got cash in hand and I'm ready to rock. But my current Ninja 500 is 430 pounds wet and has 49 horsepower, or it did when it was made. It's probably down to like 42 or something like that these days because it's old. And this thing is 502 pounds wet, so only 70 pounds heavier. And depending on who you talk to and who dynos it, it has between 129 and 140 horsepower. So it has the power of a Honda Civic with 1/6 the weight. This is a ridiculously fast bike. I don't ride real fast, but it's going to help in the mountains when I go on mountain cruises. It has a center stand. Those of you that don't ride, you don't understand how badass it is to have a center stand, so you can pop that back wheel up and tighten your chain and stuff like that. So, beautiful looking bike. Looking forward to checking that out tomorrow or Saturday, depending on when I get time. That's a really weird picture. I don't know why they took that picture. So, but been talking to the lady actually that owns it. This is kind of interesting. She seems like kind of a wine mom, which is fine. That's whatevs. So, looking forward to getting that bike. It comes with some big old saddlebags, tank bags, all sorts of luggage, basically. Nice aftermarket exhaust, so it sounds good. So, yeah. Might have some new wheels. And then my buddy Butcher, who I don't think is on the stream tonight, but he's a pretty regular guest, is coming down to visit me for a couple weeks at the end of May, which I'm very excited about. And he came across some rough times last year and had to sell his old cruiser. So if he does make it down here, I'm going to sell him my old Ninja 500 for... I'm going to ask for a toonie because I want a $2 bill from Canada, or a coin, or whatever it comes in. And he's going to ride it back. Oh, this is a liter bike. Yeah. Oh. Actually, it's 998 cc's. The insurance on this thing, no shit, $96 a year. Americans don't care. Yeah, it's extremely low because American insurance rates are based on accident rates. A Yamaha R1, which looks like this. Oh no, I got a hair on my mouse. So yeah, this is an R1. It's got the same motor in it, but it's obviously way more sportier and way faster looking. And 22-year-old military dudes buy these and then wrap them around telephone poles. Versus the FZ1, which is a little more upright, a little more sedate, bought by older riders that ride them less extremely and have a much lower accident rate. So the accident rate on these is like 1/10 that of the actual R1. So the insurance is just dirt fucking cheap on these. It's nothing. It's peanuts. So yeah, I'm quite excited. And it's basically the same power. It's like 2 horsepower less than the R1. However, this one is actually probably better for just general riding because they tuned it to where it has more mid-range. You don't have to get it revved up to like 9,000 to get any usable power out of it. Whereas the R1 is just meant to be screaming the whole time. So, yeah. And plus, now, if I buy this, my motorcycle will match my stereos, which is cool. And yeah, I absolutely do use HF propagation to go back a couple minutes. This is a pretty useful site. Generally, I'll just like get on the bands and see who's active right now. Really. No sunspots, bands closed, everything's trash. Yeah, I've noticed that too. I think it has something to do with like high altitude jet streams and stuff like that. There's always a spot where it's a little bit different over the Northeast. I've noticed similar spots over like Eastern Africa. So I think it's basically like particular air currents once they transition from land to ocean in the high upper atmosphere. they might have some effect on the ionosphere up there. So I've definitely noticed that. So really what I use for propagation more than anything is just oh yeah, it's super cool. I just use DX maps and take a look at the bands and see who's working where. Now look at this asshole. He managed to get a 10-meter contact from Southern California to England. Yeah. But yeah, this is just a general running log of all the contacts on all the bands. 10 meters, pretty quiet. Go to 20 meters, this will be exploding. Always exploding. The hotspot right now is North America. But just thousands and thousands of contacts. 40 meters should be pretty hot too. Yeah. They're still able to talk to Europe now. This is basically the past hour of all the contacts mapped out. Yeah, I think it is. Now, the thing is that the vast majority of contacts on this map are just digital nodes, which they're like a mouse fart in a hurricane. Very, very low level, but anybody can pick them up. I'll be up next week. I'm flying out Saturday, so I'll be there the 5th through the 11th. Does that match up at all? Oh, that gets way more bitter as it gets hot. It's okay though. Let's see what's going on at 60 meters. It's a very weird band. Ooh, nice. Lots of people talking to Europe on there. Aw, that sucks. I'm probably going to be getting more frequent trips to SF. I may be going into sort of a team lead role. So the trips may go up to quarterly. So we may sync up again. So yeah, going to SF next week, and then in August I'm going to Portland. It's ostensibly a work trip, but I'm also going to be scoping out the area because Portland's on my short list of places to move to. So it's either somewhere in NorCal or somewhere a little bit outside of Portland. I've already cleared it with the West Coast manager. I can work remotely, so I can buy, or not buy. Yeah, I can buy property. No, I can rent a place, kind of back out in the sticks a little bit, back in the redwoods or the pines, depending on what state I go into, and just live in a small town, and just basically come in once every 3 or 6 months, which would be really cool. And when I do come in, I have use of the corporate apartment in SF, so that'll be really cool. So looking forward to checking out those areas. My rule is no less than 1 hour and no more than 4 hours from SF if I do go to Cali. So yeah, we're looking up in this area, CN 90, CN 80. We're ham, so we talking grid squares. Yeah, see, like, people are selling me really hard on Portland. I'm really, really curious to check it out. And they say that my vibe would probably mesh very well with that area. I'm chill, a little weird. I like my beer, smoke up, let's cook some food, play with gadgets, so on and so forth. So I'm really excited to check out Portland because I've never been there. I never went west of Denver until I started my job with my company, and they dragged me out there for 2 weeks. Can't say that I love SF, like I mentioned. It's a weird city. There's a lot of class war, basically, for lack of a better term. There's so much money in that town, right alongside so much poverty, and it's really shocking. It's really, really weird. So I definitely wouldn't be close into SF, or, dear God, I'd never even think about like San Jose or anything like that. I might slum it in Oakland. I could see, like being trashy in fucking Oakland a little bit, go do some smoke shows on the bike, stuff like that. That kind of vibe. But SF itself, no, I'm staying way off the peninsula. But yeah, so I had originally intended to take like 3 extra days on this trip coming up and just kind of rent a car and dawdle around NorCal and check things out, but it didn't line up, unfortunately. But that's okay. So my lease is up in September, if I recall. So that's kind of my clock. And really the big thing is like how much they jack my rent up here, because they raised my rent 38% last year. Yeah, that's right. Denver has no rent control. And I'm suspecting, because they put me on a 10-month lease last year, which is really weird, and it makes it end September 1st, which is peak like rent spike season. I'm suspecting that they're going to try to squeeze me for another fat increase. And at that point, my rent will be such that it's roughly in line with like small town NorCal rent of like a little 1-bedroom cottage or something like that. And it's always been a big bucket list thing of like mine, of like, especially in the past few years, to just spend a couple of years out on the West Coast. My basic tour around America is, I was born up here in the UP of Michigan. When I was 2, I moved down to Milwaukee here, and we lived in Milwaukee till I was 11. And then we moved down to Greensboro, North Carolina, actually not far from old NI4E here. And I spent 2 or 3 years here, and then went to Arkansas. I spent 26 years in Arkansas. Ugh. And then we came out to Denver in 2014. Is Boston just nailing it? Columbus Blue... Who the fuck are the Blue Jackets? Did I miss something? Is that a moved team? Did they, like, rehome somebody? I haven't kept up much this year, sadly. Bruins are nailing it. I mean, you know me. I'll stand the Bruins just because that was the first team I followed when I started following hockey. So I'm glad they're doing well. But I know they're very, very, very hated. So it's okay. Everybody has their opinions and their takes, and that's what makes sports fanning fun. Anyways, yeah, I wanted to talk about motorcycles and hockey and propagation. What's the other one that I like to use for Quatch? Oh, okay, they were in that round. I never paid any attention to them then. Yeah. Yeah. I got to go see Game 7 of Avs Preds last year. That was kind of entertaining. Because I went with my manager, and she is a huge, like oddly huge Preds fan. I don't know why. And I, of course, was going for the Avs. It was here in town, and Avalanche got their shit pushed in. But it was a fun game to watch because we were on opposite sides, so it was a little bit of friendly rivalry. And boy, did I hear a whole bunch of like local racism against PK Subban. Holy cow. It was bad. It was kind of shameful. Did they really? Man. Are Golden Knights in? Okay. He's really fucking good, dude. I was so impressed with him. Yeah, like, he rocked it. Like, that was a well-deserved win that I went to see. The Sharks won, huh? Oh, they went to Game 7. Lame. I'm a big stan for the Golden Knights because everybody else is so mad at them because, like, Golden Knights had a really good PR campaign. They promote, they hype, they get people fired up. And it's so kind of goofy that Vegas has a hockey team because if you've ever been there, you know that it's a literal hell desert in the middle of more desert. So it's really just kind of funny. But once you think about it, you're like, there's so much climate control being pumped into Las Vegas. Who cares about putting some ice down? Like, fuck it. Let's do this. Yeah, that's true. He was good back then. He's got a lot of like really ardent fans, and that's cool. And I hope that people continue to give him much love because he's talented. Really is. So let's see what's going on these here radios. Anything interesting?
Unable to make the net because being deployed and coming back and
Oh 07.
getting a hero's welcome, if you will.
07.
That term. It really feels good, being appreciated. And when you look at what these
Thank you for your service.
do for humans and
This dude just wants a hand job.
Very new. And has
Here we go. It's been southbound. This is the Pikes Peak repeater. This is 67 miles away.
almost now to come to the final configuration.
Yeah, 07.
It's going to be done before the end of the fiscal year, which is the end of June, and I've got 7 projects to get installed.
Oh, really? So it was a personal grudge. Well, that sucks. Well, they definitely got the short end of that stick because he does really well for the Preds. And honestly, I guess I could see being a Predators fan because it is also equally goofy that Nashville has a hockey team.
Roger,
Yeah. So
one division of this organization has
yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
told me, just put it all together and let me know what you think we need. And I appreciate that. That means a lot.
Yeah, Smashville. My old manager has a shirt that, or a hat that says that.
it sounds like a good deal. When I've been in some of those
A little bit of blowtorch ASMR. Let's do this.
group will say, yeah, just put it all together, tell us what we need. And walk in there and you find out that they're not the sole decision maker. Somebody else is a lot more skeptical than they are.
Yeah, been in that situation too. Fortunately, the lady I'm working with is the one who
Let's do that dab.
signs the approvals, so I appreciate her.
Yeah, I've heard that too. That they suffer from some kind of
Hey, I wanted
shitty
to
Quebecy ownership.
walk out on you last weekend. I got sidetracked in that recovery vehicle or rescue vehicle.
Yeah, I
and
can feel that.
turned around and didn't see anymore, and thought, maybe I.
Getting a little bit of glow here.
No worries at
I
all.
left a bunch of shit in the bottom of those last night.
Groups of people, and I knew you were off looking at different things. I had seen their vehicle set up once before, so I didn't bother to go out to wherever they had it parked.
Kind of burn a little bit off there.
And wound up at the end of the day talking with a couple of
Okay.
those guys with the blue shirts, and we talked quite a bit about.
I've seen a lot of Avs jerseys around the past week or two. People were pretty hyped. We'll see how they do. I honestly don't follow them, even though that's technically home team. I was gonna buy half season tickets this year. Never got around to it. Might do that next season. It's like $450 or $500, I want to say, if you buy early enough. Sadly, it's the first half of the season, but you still get a shitload of games.
Like I said, I just didn't want you to think
Yeah.
you were going to show me that antenna setup and stuff.
All right, we are heated up.
Didn't see you around and had to get back here to
The rule here is wait till the red disappears and then wait 60 seconds. So, 8:21:46.
radio with Sid a couple days later.
Got a little bit of wax on the tool here.
Gave him some additional info.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, the last 2 days have completely forgotten about the 1230 net, so I'm going to have to try to hop on there.
This repeater is monster. Like I said, it's on top of Pikes Peak, so it has just line of sight to literally half of Colorado. I can easily see like the top like 40% of Pikes Peak if I just go out in the backyard. Like it's ridiculously prominent.
Name and location and call sign, and that's about it.
And put the little cap on top.
And sometime, Sid may start asking for spotter numbers. I checked in yesterday, but I blew right through it today. I was nose down trying to get these slides worked on.
Alright, let's get ready here.
And I'll try to check in again tomorrow, but I'll be out of pocket on Saturday. And next week I'm going to be busy all week, so probably won't get a chance to check in then. See the weather report, read the weather statement, and but that's usually about the only information. Unless something looks like it's beginning to to tick off, then he may even schedule one for a follow-up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But I can't remember.
Got that mute button.
Scheduled a 3 o'clock follow-up. So yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, so I told him I can't guarantee that I'll be there every day.
Now we're in the proper frame of mind for the Zcast.
My schedule with customers and everything else, but
So let's take a look at 40 meters and see how that's doing.
being involved and try to check in as much as I can. With regard to the spotter numbers, I asked about that, and it sounded like if you didn't have one and you were at the meeting that Mark was going to make assignments, but it also sounded like he was pretty far behind, so it may take a little while.
Yeah, that's how it's worked.
Man, that shit's harsh. Even when it's smooth, it's harsh.
They take that back into a back room someplace, and let's see. I guess it was not last year before that I did the training and got mine. I can't remember.
Quite a few signals on 40 meters. I'm just keeping an eye on it to see if anything interesting pops up.
With the information in the email, and it said, your spotter number is.
These guys are boring as hell, though.
Well, I'm done for the night, so I hope.
Way of placing you.
Location in. KG5RWO clear.
Let's see what's going on here. So yeah, I'm excited to go to SF. It'll be my first trip in the spring/summer. Both times I've been out there, it's been like October, November. So curious to see what it's like in May. Might be a little bit nicer. I don't know, like I have problems with the SF climate. I know people love Bay Area weather. I think it's horrible. Like, it's so humid that it just amplifies whatever temp swing, and I know there's not much temp swing. But it's just weird, and it's just weird and bad to me to have like 10 degrees of thermometer change take you from just shivering cold to like sweating. I see why everybody wears the fucking puffy mid-layer vest there, because you got to dress in layers. Because every 3 degrees it changes, like you're in a different like mode for your body. And it's so weird because like here in Denver, it'll swing 40 degrees in 24 hours fairly regularly. So like you just like, but it doesn't hurt. Like it's not like ridiculous. Like 72 will be, it's nice in the sun. It's still cool in the shade. You're still dry. You don't like get dripping sweat. And then it gets down to like 35 at night, and you're just like, it's fresh, but I'm not like dying shivering because it's still so dry. And that's really kind of the weather that I like more. I like the high desert thing, you know. Down there on the coast, I don't know. It's nice when it's nice, and then 5 degrees warmer, it's just sweltering, and 5 degrees colder, it's just like that foggy shiver shit that I'm not a fan. But it's okay. I got a bunch of good people out there, and the food is fucking amazing. Like, I love San Francisco cuisine and food. Because you have just, like, so many different mashups. You know, it's just everything's fusion. HRD. It's my favorite lunch place there. I go there every time. HRD, halal guys, and then I gotta go get crab. Must get crab every trip. I will pay any amount. I will put up with any line or any amount of bullshit to eat that Dungeness. Think I've done anything the past day? No. So yeah, let's see. I'm gonna pop down to 40-meter digital. See if we can do a little keyboard chatting. The locals are pretty boring. Let's see if we can get some long distance shiz going on. Some old dudes running code. Always fun. One of my flaws is that I cannot do Morse code stoned, so it's not an option right now. I've tried. It's no good. I gotta be sober if I'm tapping the pedals. Yeah, I'll go ahead and cut the audio to the stream because it's just a bunch of whines. Let's just look at the screen and see what we can see. Seems to be a few people on. That's always a good sign. I don't even know what this mode is. They're doing something weird. Yeah. Yeah, we got the double waterfall action. We can do some goofy ass color schemes too. That one. What other ones? Jungle. Jungle. Ooh, that one's super cool. Yeah, that's true. Oh, they're running Hellschreiber. Well, how about that? Eh. There we go. Okay, so they're calling CQ. Let me tune up here. Let's give them a call back. There we go. There we go. We're talking to him. He's Canadian. Talking to my gang up there. All right, we got Rick. Excellent. Nice contact. All right, and I want... Yeah, that waterfall looks pretty fucking cool. It's nice that we have the radio and the computer ones. Yeah. I don't care about typing and see how the fuck did I do that? Really? Interesting. I'll drink a Foster's to that. Ooh, ASMR knuckle crack. My mic is a it's catching up. Anyways, this mic is a $11 Pyle PYLE brand mic. It's I believe it's the search for PDMIC 58. It's basically a Shure clone. It ships with an unbalanced wiring on the XLR, but if you pull the XLR out of the back and just break the short between ground and the cold side, you get a true balanced microphone that actually compares. Like, people can't A/B it between like a Shure SM58. And it's like, I bought it when it was $12. I think they're $19 now, but they're pretty incredible deals. Yeah, this mic is a pretty amazing deal. I also have a It's the mic I used for the first couple of streams. It's a Audio Technica lapel mic, and it actually sounds pretty good for what it is. But I have problems with it picking up ambient noise, and because it's this goofy little stereo 1/8" thing, and it ends up shorting out any XLR adapter somehow. I can't get it working through the mixing board, so I just went to my dynamic, which I like better anyways. We're hacking into Ontario right now. We're talking to Rick up there. This is an antique mode called Hellschreiber. And it's basically you make beeps very quickly on and off. And you can draw pixels. You get like 13 pixels per line. And it was originally used with paper tape that would constantly move. And this signal would draw these characters on there. Now we just use a computer and it simulates the whole paper tape thing. And he's blasting in. Good signal. I like having tons of buttons to push everywhere.
Got that.
Listen to the local
And so that's pretty convenient. You can wire just
local machine
switch
while we
low.
this is still
Doesn't draw any current at all.
Pikes Peak over there.
Into that pin, and then when it senses that the ignition is off, it's just like you punch the off button on the front panel plate.
Well, I don't have anything quite that highfalutin on this radio.
Highfalutin.
Touche. This is K0MGL. Yeah, I just got it on one. It's this, which is more of a. It's built on a commercial design.
We'll wrap it up with this dude.
That would be useful in
Just a nice little short contact.
Of installation where you want to make absolutely sure that the radios are off because the operators aren't really thinking about that kind of thing. They pick up the phone, the microphone, and mash the button, set it down, and that's all they think about in terms of using a radio in commercial radio. But well, I need to get in and fix some late dinner for the wife. So I probably ought to get out of the office and go do that before I start to see protest marches in the hallway.
All right, Greg, I'll let you get back to it. Always good chatting with you. We'll catch you on there again. If I remember to turn things on at 12:30 tomorrow, I'll
Yeah.
be there. K0MGL, KE0PSJ. Have a good evening.
All right, Andy, take care. Thanks for the chat. Talk to you later. KE0PSJ, K0M.
Everybody's signing off. Yeah, it is really weird that, because like there's this huge like war, eternal fucking war between people that buy new radios and people that use old radios. My god, they bicker and fight. The old Collins radios are always the best. Man, old man, you're stuck in the past. Get this new Icon with DSP. They just fight and bitch back and forth. And really, if you look down to it, everybody's driving a fucking Model T compared to like the radio and a cell phone. Like literally, like our tech is so antique. Like, no reason to be picky about it. I have literal boxes that just generate RF, and I squirt audio into them and magic waves. Take them to some random motherfucker that has a similar box. It's so weird. I love it.
I got a lot of radios here, but like I said, I got to shed some of it.
Let's see if there's anything interesting going on
All kinds.
over on that repeater.
About four HF receivers I'm going to get rid of. The older type, tube type stuff.
Yeah, I mean these are quote unquote SDRs, and that yes, they do use SDR architecture.
50%, and I get 50%.
But as far as like the whole concept of like, you know, a fucking like a flex box, which is like this black box. Your site sucks and is slow. You should get a CDN. Yeah, so that's one of their ones with a front panel, but
That sounds like fun. Yeah,
that's a flex radio right there. It's a fucking box. It has a little display on top and a mic and phones, but you have to hook it to a computer.
I have this guy. He has.
I was thinking about checking out a similar SDR. And it's neat because they do have this front panel that hooks up to it, gives you the waterfall experience and some knobs and buttons. But that's another $1,000, I think, on top of these, which are, what does the flex go for? $6,000. It's a hell of a radio, but my god. What's the cheapest flex you can get? Wow, they're all incredibly expensive. Get a 6400. Get this thing. I know it's horrible. They have other brands of SDRs that just work with whatever. Whoa, that's a... Yeah. Why are you involved? Oh, this site is horrible. Oh my god. Like, I'm not like spinning the scroll wheel wildly here when I click on it. Like, I didn't click anything. It just zooms into a fucking 20x. I don't want that. Imagine that Flex Radio has bad coding on their website.
W68TG for the bell. Where do you end up buying the big electrolytics from?
Well, you can.
Cool. I'm gonna log that contact. That was a fun little chat. Go back to PSK31 because there seems to be a dude down here. I'm digging the fucking Miami Vice waterfall, to be honest. There's a guy running Olivia up there too.
Here in Denver, you can get a lot of capacitors at Granger.
Oh, I didn't know Granger carried capacitors. Do they have to order them in, or do they have a supply on hand?
Oh, they got a tremendous warehouse. They got all kinds of stuff. They got motors. They got capacitors. They got resistors. They got all kinds of stuff.
Oh, nice. I've been ordering them from DigiKey and I think it's Old Radio Supply or something, or
Yeah, order from those guys. Don't fucking go to Granger. You're gonna get like triple billed. Good god. It is neat to know that they stock stuff like that, but Micro Center, man, they have a big part stock now. I'm really impressed with them. I don't miss Radio Shack at all, except for things like RF connectors. But all the shit they sold was low quality anyways, so it's not that big of a deal, especially now that Amazon Prime is a thing. And I can just order a shitload of PL259 adapters and have them here in like 36 hours. So.
They do have a phone number. All you got to do is call them and see if they have whatever in stock.
thought that maybe they'd have start capacitors and stuff for motors, but not for you know, like electrolytic capacitor kind of stuff for.
Yeah, that's really nice to have.
And things like that.
I was looking to go to Dayton, but my wife's still on chemo, so I'm not going to be able to. And that will happen.
Oh, that's a change. He's talking about somebody else's illness.
In a couple days. It might happen. Like.
He's a nice guy, though. He's on the radio all the time. I won't talk shit.
For Dayton.
Thinking real hard. Of buying software. The Icon BA1 software. Man, it's ugly, but it's still the best control software for these radios because it does do the waterfall over USB. It basically just runs 115.2 serial and it can get the whole waterfall across pretty easily. God, I know. And I mean, look at that. It's still fucking skinned like XP or Windows 8 or something. I guess that's Windows 10, but still. Anyways, it seems fairly clean looking if it works okay. And what's interesting is that if I buy this and run it on my machine full time, I can then connect to my radio remotely anywhere from the internet, because this does not only control but bidirectional audio. So it's perfectly feasible that I could buy this, run it. No, the thing is my 9700, it has the server software for this built in, so I wouldn't need a computer running the software to operate that radio. But the 7300 is a little bit older, and they don't have that built-in Ethernet port. So I have to hook it up to a computer, and it talks serial, and then I run this in server mode. But then I can run this on any, I guess, Windows 10 or whatever laptop, and be able to operate my rigs from anywhere. I'm kind of thinking it might be worth it. I mean, I could homebrew something. Like, I could rig some shit together. Like, how do you transmit? I guess I could use just like Skype or TeamSpeak, or what the fuck? Like, what would you use to get a bidirectional audio channel between two computers, like client server? I don't even know what people use these days. LOL. The Mattyz radio Discord. Join different channels for different radios. Oh shit. That's actually a really good idea. Because I've already got 4 channels of audio going into the machine. I could easily just add USB dongles to add like 4 more, and then I could just have like 4 radio streams going. Or 8, up to 8 if I do mono channels, and just pump those into a Discord, and you can just join the Discord and go to whatever channel you want to listen to. Oh shit. That would be pretty fun. I'd have to disable... I mean, I guess I could just leave it tuned to interesting stuff, and you could treat it as just a couple of narrowband web SDRs. Leave some radios on scan, whatever. It's got options though. I really like the Discord idea though.
Thanks, Bill. We got you checked in. KM6ROX.
Shit, I could just run a 24/7 Twitch stream then. I think they'll let you do that. I could just run a 24/7 stream with like get every radio up in one like canvas, and then you join the Discord and you listen to whatever radio you want to listen to, but they're all on the screen. That would be pretty fucking dang.
WE4BY.
People could make clips of interesting shit they hear too, even if I'm not on. Man, may have to create a Mattyz bot channel. You join that for the 24/7 stream, and then I guess I could just turn this into the 24/7. Be hard to notify people when I actually go live, though.
KJ7EHA.
I wonder if there'd be some way.
Okay, this is Jack, KK6WXQ. As we all check in,
I guess I could just use Vox on the radios, so when they get any audio input, they go push to talk. And then just like, can you set up a Discord server so like people can join a channel, but
or missed check-ins in just a moment.
they have to be granted permission to talk? Does that work? Because if you do that, I could grant like just myself basically permission, and then I could just I could join the channel with the desktop, have all the radio streaming in, and then I could join and everybody could listen in to me operating. I use Discord to pump my audio into the radio, which would transmit whenever it hears anything that's not itself. And since I'm the only person that would have talk privs. Okay, nice. It's doable. I think it's doable. I wonder if there's a way to grant somebody talk over permissions. Because say I'm like on like the 40 meter radio, which is constant noise, it would always have the have audio going through the channel. And I wonder if there's a way that I could set it to where if I key up from my laptop and I say something, that it shuts up and transmits me, and it would then hear me and send my audio out the radio. Like an override or a priority talk over type thing. If I could set that, we could totally do this. Okay. Yeah. Huh. I think that might be some good season 2 shit. Yeah. That would be fine. I think that would be fine. As long as I could get audio through to the radio when the radio is always keyed up and talking, basically. As long as I can get my audio into the radio, it should be fine.
Thank you, John. You checked in.
KK6DYO, Paul from Torrance.
Paul, thank you. I got you checked in.
Couple of signals there. I don't know how juicy it is.
Okay, thank you for all those checking in on Echo Link, and now we'll take late miss.
Oh, they got the Echo Link. It's one of the internet backbone networks.
Of your call sign, and we'll take a group of 4 or 5, and then come back and I'll get your full call sign and location.
It's one of the older networks that's. It's technically analog because the way Echo Link works is you hook up a radio to a computer and you hook audio in and out between the two. And the computer can then basically connect to different. It's basically VoIP channels. And if a bunch of those separate radio setups, hook up to the same channel, they can all talk to one another. But it's kind of analog because it just passes audio to the radio versus the newer digital backbone networks, which the mode is digital all the way from the radio to the RF network and going to the internet and the backbone and stuff. So it's kind of ends up sounding a little different, works a little different. It's a lot of it's like appropriated, like cop radio tech that we like adapted for ham use, like DMR. That's a former Motorola thing called Turbo. It's not former; they still sell those types of radios, but Hams basically took it and figured out how to put it on the ham bands. So that's what DMR is. The 9700 does D-Star, which is a standard that was approved by a coalition of Japanese ham manufacturers and the government for kind of an open source digital mode, multi-manufacturer at least. And it's really popular in Japan, and it's getting pretty popular here. I played with it a little bit, and I think it sounds really good. And I haven't quite figured out how to operate it with all the different like reflectors and stuff. But the conversations that I have tuned in on sound great. Dude's talking in a bathroom or something. Hiding from his wife in the bathroom, talking on ham radio. Sounds about right.
Thanks very much.
See if there's any satellites coming up. Oh, that's right. I don't have the cable moved over. And nothing good coming up. Foster's Australian for piss. You can tell it's bad because normally after 2 hours, I have easily slammed a 24-ounce beer on this. Which is this? Yeah, 25.4. Oh, alright. Let's see what else is going on here. We got some more dudes on here. Let's see what's going on. Okay, then. W8KQ. It's got a good signal here. There's a bunch of people fucking around right now.
The time is 9 p.m. and this is the K0FEZ repeater.
It's self-aware. Oh my god. Should get a bunch more IDs.
Zulu Romeo. In there, I think.
Day 2 at 9 o'clock p.m. Welcome to the ECRC repeater AB0PC.
They love their little robot voices.
Second and third letters of your call sign.
Alright, back to 40 meters. What's going on here?
Okay, we'll give that one more try and then we'll move on. Go ahead now.
Kilo 6, Hotel Zulu Romeo.
You got it that time. Kilo 6, HZR. I got you, Jose. Thanks for checking in. All right. Thank you.
God bless us.
We are now officially
The heck is that signal?
If anybody checked in via email, I'll add those to the list. I'll get with Dave later on in the weekend and make sure we get those added in. So, thank you.
No, what the fuck is that? I have no idea. I wonder if somebody's trying to run FT4. It's a new digital mode. They don't belong down here. That runs on a different frequency. I mean, they can shit it out if they want, but nobody can decode that.
So, the net topic for tonight is new ham radios and equipment. And the net this week on new ham radio equipment is kind of broad. We can really talk about anything we want here. I've put a couple of three things on the website as a guideline, and I want to emphasize guidelines. I don't want to not talk about something new or exciting that any of you want to bring up. So if there's something you can just check in with net control.
Calm down, buddy. It's okay.
One of the categories I thought would be interesting would be the HT equipment, the new HTs that are coming out, including some of the software-defined radios that we hear so much about. I think, I don't know very many people that don't have a couple of the Chinese versions of either the Bofang or those type of SDR radios.
Hell no, I don't want a fucking Bofangs. I bought one once. Okay, so like, oh my god. Triggered by the worst radio in ham radio. So yeah, like, everybody's like, oh man, if they break, it's no big deal. You can buy a Bofang and like, who cares if you drop it in the mud and stuff. And fucking like, bought one of these things, a BF888. It's a 70 centimeter radio, so it operates up there on 440. It's just meant for like local repeaters, just analog. 16 channels. It's just a little rotary switch on top that you have to PC program. So channel 3 is a certain repeater, channel 4, so on. And a volume knob. That's all you fucking get. And I just needed a little radio transceiver for a project. Basically, I wanted to make a little mini repeater. So I was like, man, I'll just spend $11 on a BF888 and use that. And I got this thing in, and it didn't ship with the fucking programming cable. Which sucks, because that's like another $9. So the deal is much less hot at that point. And I looked around in my junk box, and I was like, wait a second, I've got a TTL serial to USB adapter. And that's all it is. I'm going to just wire up a cable and jam it in there and go. And I'm pretty confident that I wired it up properly, and this thing was fucked up somehow. Because when I plugged it into the USB adapter, it blew up my $25 genuine FTDI serial to USB that I used for like so many things because it was authentic. And this fucking $11 radio blew up a $25 serial to USB adapter. Yeah, I sure did. I don't know what was going on, but yeah. Yeah, I put like a big cap in because I figured it'd be a pretty slow serial. So I took that radio, and shortly thereafter, I rented a table at a local ham fest because I had a bunch of extra shit. Not a bunch of extra shit. Now I could fill up like 2 to 3 tables with stuff that I wouldn't mind getting rid of. But then again, I love it all, and I'm just a radio hoarder. But anyways, I had this table at a ham fest, and I put this Bofang up with a big post-it note that said "Cursed Radio, free." That was it, basically. Cursed radio, free. And people would ask, what's cursed about it? And I was like, yeah, it blew up a $25 USB adapter. And they're like, oh, okay. And I remember that 8 people picked it up and asked me the story. 8 people set it back down on the table. Free radio. And this 9th motherfucker shows up at like 11:30 a.m. Hamfest over at 12 usually. Comes by, he's like, I'll chance my luck with it, and takes it away. So yeah, the 9th person picked up the cursed radio. Hey, Noah, good time. We're having a good time. Actually, we're cutting down to 2 days a week, so we're going Thursday, Saturday. So Great timing on your part. You can catch us. Trying to go a little bit longer streams less frequently. 3 days a week was just killing me, especially with busy work and IRL stuff. But yeah, good to have you on with us. I was just bitching about Bowfangs, and we were playing on 40-meter digital. And I'm drinking a Bad Foster's. And we're listening to the local repeater.
The other thing I'm not really sold on is it does use a cradle.
Actually, we don't need redundant waterfalls. I'll put the camera on the repeater machine at least.
To make it a little bit smaller. Not the worst thing in the world, but you know, I'd rather.
See, that's technically paperwork, and I don't do paperwork.
Certainly not a deal breaker.
I just avoid those problems. I don't have to ever have to edit anything that I write because I never write anything down.
It sounds fantastic, and again, it's pretty easy to program. Any questions?
Time out.
What the fuck signal is that?
Launch your transmit. Time out. Reset.
I have no idea what that super wide signal was. It looked harmonically related, like somebody was way overdriving.
Yes, it's the Yaesu FT4X, and the X stands. I think the X is the dual band. That's what the X stands for, and then they have a single band, which is 2-meter only. This one, FT4X, was $80.
Yowza, that's plain.
Favorite ham radio toy store, and about $60 for the single band.
See, here's the problem. They're trying to replace the FT60. Their problem is that they should not replace the FT60 because the Yaesu FT60R is one of the finest dual band handhelds made in the past, like, 15 years. I don't own one, because I don't really beat up my HTs that much. And I know what it does, and I know that I can buy one whenever, except they discontinued them. But this radio is so freaking good. There it is with the fast charger and speaker mic and all pimped out. You can drive a truck over these and they'll just be fine. $150. Best radio. Best radio that you can buy new for your dollar in the past 15 years. If you're on a budget and need your first ham radio, track down an FT60R. Ooh, that's a nice one. I kind of want one of the fancy Yaesu ones. Like I've got the freaking tiny little VX3R that we were talking about earlier, and I love it to death. But I wouldn't mind one of the bigger kind of Swiss Army knife ones. I seem to specialize more in the 90s dual banders that do like 2 bands at one time. I have at least 3 of those. Yeah, and I've got some other weird single banders. I've got, hang on, get more HTs out. So these are some classic motherfuckers. We got the Yaesu, or the ICOM 2AT, the 3AT, and the 4AT. And yes, they're kind of dirty and covered in cat hair. But yeah, I have almost a full line of these radios. There's also a 1.2 gig, which is really hard to find. But ICOM's first mass market handheld. Check out those thumb wheels. Hang on, let me get the set your frequency, add 5 kilohertz, volume squelch, power switch. You can hook up a speaker mic if you want. These things are so cool. Back here, you got a low and a high power switch. It's like 1 watt versus a quarter watt or something. And duplex or simplex. Simplex is you transmit and receive on the same frequency. Duplex is you transmit on a different frequency. You set that here with plus 600 or minus 600. Because most repeaters are 600 kc off. But yeah, so I have one of these. I have the ICOM 3AT, which is a 220 megahertz handheld. It's my only 220 radio. It does work. It shits out some sort of RF, but I can't reach any repeaters within range because it doesn't have any tones. So I've never talked to anybody on it. KD8YR. Got your radio, dude. Huge heatsink. This is not just cosmetic, not just belt clip functional. This is the heatsink for the finals. And then I have the 440, the ICOM 4AT. Again, same thing, same controls, same cat hair. Back here, power switch, duplex, simplex, plus 5 or minus 5 megs. The problem with these radios is that they don't have PL tone encoders, so they can't key up any repeaters, and they're low power, so you're not going to be able to work people simplex. They're between 1 and 2 watts peak output. But man, these things will never, ever, 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 ever break. If they do, you can repair them, no problem. Like, schematics are all out there. They're very simple. Not very simple, but they're a lot more fixable than, say, a radio that's just a CPU and a modulator chip and an amp chip. You know what I mean? They're made of discrete parts. There's very few like dip chips in there or anything. So yeah, that's my little old school ICOM stack. I keep them around. These aren't actual battery packs. These are battery eliminators. You can just plug it into 12 volts and operate them. I only have 2 of those, but I have 3 radios. So yeah, those are some groovy old rigs. I just buy $5, $10 Hamfest radios. I'm fine with just going in there with like $100 because I'm good at snagging interesting deals for cheap. The trick is to go make sure you're there for the first hour of the Hamfest and the last hour of the Hamfest. First hour is before people have sniped up all the good deals, and you just beat them because they're old dudes with like walkers, and you're a relatively young dude that can basically sprint around and hit like 10 tables in the first 30 seconds, just a super quick scan, see if you give a shit about anything. That's how I got that little Kenwood HF rig that I have in my truck right now, is I sprinted into the Hamfest right out of the gate and got to the table first, and it was an estate sale, and I was like, that's a nice radio. What are y'all asking for? Expecting like $300. And he's like, radio and the tuner, $75. And before he said dollars, I was like, sold. Like, such a good deal.
It's really helpful. Anyway, I really like the new 9918. It's about $1,200, I think, at your, as Kevin said, your favorite ham radio toy store, and it's a good radio. Anyways, any questions?
Time out.
Long-winded
Your
motherfuckers.
Transmit. Time out. Reset.
Getting yelled at by the repeater, man.
Hearing no questions, we'll move on. I do like one other feature that may not be unique to the 991 or the Yaesu line of radios, but you can record a message. You can record, especially if you're operating on field day and you're doing a CQ call, CQ, this is KK6WXQ, any response, please come now. You're trying to find anyone that you can connect to. Well, you can be saying that, 100 times. Well, and Hector was showing me how to do this as well. So you record that, and then you can just hit the button and transmit that recording over and over and over and over again. It sounds like a silly and the nice
Yes, voice keyers are good.
that really, really well.
These radios have voice keyers. I got a bunch of shit recorded, so I can just like slap the button. I can actually like I don't have them set right here, but I can record different messages to those 8 slots up to like 30 seconds apiece. It's an arbitrarily low stupid number, but it's long enough that it works. I want to say it's a minute maybe. But then you can just hit the button, just tap it to like key the radio up and transmit that. Or if you long press it, you can set a delay, and then it'll transmit and it'll wait and it'll transmit and it'll wait. And you can just let that fucker run and call CQ for you for, I mean, hours if you want. It's legal. So yeah, interesting little features. As long as it's an attended station, as long as you're there at the controls, it's fine to call CQ for as long as you want.
Thank you, Jack. Took a brain fart there. WB6RAW Temecula. It's good to be on here. Normally on Thursday.
They got a big old Echolink network set up.
But the group that we meet with is taking a break right now, so it's a delight to be able to.
Yeah, you can actually pop, because these have 16 gig SD cards in, maybe 32s, no 16s. And yeah, you can just pop them into a laptop and load up the file system, and you can see the slots for the keyer messages. So yeah, totally doable. I mean, I also have an enormous mixer here that I can route any audio source to any audio destination, so I could just play it to the computer.
Elecraft K-line, the K3, the matching pan adapter and matching solid-state amplifier. I use that as well. But the
how do you know if somebody owns an Elecraft? Don't worry, they'll tell you.
And I'll share briefly why I bought it and why I like it. Let me drop it for a second.
Called it.
Yeah, the Flex radio company has been around for a long time, and I really avoided getting a...
Elecraft has some interesting radios, but they charge too much for them. And the people that buy them look down on everybody else as though they have inferior radios, and it's not true. They are very nice. I won't shit on the technology. I will shit on the price, and I will shit on the attitude that people have towards them. Mobile. Another funny thing is that they're not true SDRs, they're old superhet designs. You have to buy a pan adapter, so it's just the waterfall thing that we all have built into these radios. But it's another $700. That speaker's $200, that power supply is $300. And then you have an amplifier from them sometimes, which is another $3-4 grand. I might be wrong. I might be way off. Yeah, I was way off. $6,000. So yeah, people drop like 10, 12 grand on all this Elecraft gear, and then they just snob on everybody else. And it's just annoying.
remotehamradio.com, and this is a way that you operate ham radio stations. There's about 27 of them around the country that you can literally rent on a minute-by-minute basis, and some of the stations are pretty elaborate. Multi-element beams stacked on top of beams, stacked on top of beams with 1,500 watts.
It's true, you can rent some badass stations. I'm fine with it. I used to hate on it real bad. Anything that gets people on the air is good now. As long as they're not transmitting like pro-Trump or titty pics on slow scan TV. It's been bothering me a lot lately. I haven't operated slow scan. I've tried to tune in, and like for some reason the past few weeks it's nothing but old thirsty dudes and like weird people like anonymously sending like "we must kill all the invaders" type weird right-wing stuff, and that's when I step back from stuff. I did that on a couple of local nets. So yeah, I'm taking a break from Simplex for a little while, or slow scan TV, because It just upsets me. And radio should be fun.
Is there any questions?
I'm not doing it for a living, so I don't have to not have fun, right?
FHA.
Go ahead, Tom. Warner, this is Tom. K6FHA.
Hey, Warner, I don't think we can let you off the hook that easy. You've whetted our appetite a little bit. I think you need to tell us a little bit more about these stations you can rent. KI6 FHA.
No idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, well, I saw it advertised.
I'm pretty blazed.
I saw it first advertised in QST. I think they have either a half or a full page ad. And the website does a good job in describing what these various stations look like. There's 27 of them around the country. And they come in a couple of different subscription rates, if you will. The big honkin' DX sites that have 200-foot towers and, you know, a 5-element beam on top of a 5-element beam on top of a 5-element beam, and you can rotate that whole array. Those are called the premium DX stations, and they come either barefoot 100 watts or up to 1,500 watts. Those, they're a little bit pricey. They rent for, first of all, you have to do a subscription for $999 a year, and then 9 cents a minute to 99 cents a minute. Let me drop it.
Holy shit. That's some income.
You know, above my pay grade, being retired now. They have another subscription rate, which is, you know, a tenth of that, $99 a year. And again, different rental rates per minute.
Plus rates.
Rental rates from 9 cents a minute to 49 cents a minute. And that's what I subscribe to. I figured, you know, for $100, I'll throw
No, here we go. You want me to fucking destroy HF ham radio in one fell swoop? Deploy a network of remote ham radio stations that people can bid eBay style on minutes for during contests.
Okay, good question.
Boom.
After you subscribe, they want a copy of your ham
3 millionaires win every contest.
You're transmitting legally, and then you do a username and password, and any web browser will work. They prefer a couple.
Please don't do that.
You can also operate with your smartphone. I have an iPhone, and I operate with Safari on my iPhone. It works amazingly well.
Search pricing ham radio. Jesus Christ. I'm a monster.
A web browser, and after you sign up, you get a username and password. And the user interface, the UI is amazing. Very well.
How can we Uberize ham radio though? How can we turn it into gig economy shit? Rig rental. You can rent your radio for like 49 cents an hour.
Werner, so this is remotehamradio.com, is that correct?
Like you just pass it around. It only work in big urban areas. I guess not if you like could ship back and forth.
Remote Ham Radio is the name of the site.
Wonder what you could make off that. But yeah, your radio's just sitting there 20 hours a day. Why don't you put it to work?
And again, the remote DX versions of that, there's 18 of them. And they're the ones that are pricey. Again, that was out of my price limit. But the remote sites, just the standard sites, are, you know, a tenth of that, $99. And you can even do a free trial, and you can listen and see how it works. And if you like it, that's what I did.
Very, very interesting. And now, of course, this is Jack KK6WXQ.
I don't know. Would you pay $100 a year? Plus, let's say on the low end, 9 cents a minute. So like $5.40 an hour. $100 a year plus $5.40 an hour for a decent, gets pretty good signals, gets out pretty good signals HF radio station.
Yeah, they have a bunch of. They got some
Like
new
I'm
stuff out.
I'm just shocked at the prices.
I think mine is 60.
Especially for the big tier stations, but whatevs.
Last few years, 65, 66, and 67. And I started out mine with the 6500 and then upgraded to the 6700. No.
99 cents a minute for those big
6600.
stations.
And,
Fuck.
the best one is the 6700. Now there's a new one out that actually has a front
Okay, there's
wall
just
and
endlessly jerking off about flex radios. Let's see what else is going on. Hopefully something else. No. I'm gonna nix the repeaters. Let's go back to HF land for a few more, then we'll probably wrap it up soon. 7300. Sorry about my Stone Age setup. You see what I'm talking about? Just getting the software. Because I can just put this up in Windows. I don't need a camera aiming at the screens. Because it'd be basically the same thing. Oh. Oh. So just tune around and see if anything interesting pops up.
Copy, whiskey.
Ham as a service.
Bravo. You're 5x9, Robert. 5x9 into central Canada. QSL, I got a copy of 5x5. I swung my beam around to the States, kind of given up on Europe now because I just don't think the proper...
That auto notch is badass for people tuning up.
Yeah, the band was up about half an hour ago, really nice, but that seems like it's dropped out.
Yeah, roger that. Well, that's kind of what happens. We don't have the best of conditions, so I'm told. I'm new at this, but make a few contacts anyway. Nothing.
Noise reduction on this radio is pretty decent.
Well, thanks for taking my call. I'm 73, Robert. Nice to make your acquaintance for the first time. CQDX. This is Victor Echo 4, Alpha Quebec Uniform, calling CQ and standing by.
Victor Echo 4, Alpha Quebec Uniform, Kilo 4, Romeo, Victor, November.
That dude's from down in the swamp.
4, Romeo,
Hell yeah.
Victor, November. Franklin in Georgia. You're making a great trip up here tonight. You're 5x9, sir.
Okay, what's your name? Over.
Name here
CQDX,
Rick.
CQDX, CQDX, CQDX. Yeah, good shit.
Canada.
Okay, Rick. You're about 5'7" to 5'8" here. Very nice signal. Little QSB on you. I am running about 1200 watts here with a 2-element home routine pointed your way. Thank you so much for taking my call. Just wanted to say hello. You have a very nice signal.
I may not be able to get anybody if they're using a fucking beam and 1200 watts. I'm not gonna get out with 120.
Good evening, thank you for the call. 5 and 9 down in Los Angeles. My name Alex, Alpha Lima Echo X-Ray. And 5 Sugar Kilo Tango, W6 Alpha, Florida Alpha.
151 at 210. So before tonight, we had 210 FT8s. I was working FT8 from work. I turned on a remote control to control my computer in the ham shack. So I just left it running from work, and I'd reach over at work and just click enable transmit every chance I got and worked 100.
That's hilarious. Making 100 contacts while you're at work just by clicking a button on a fucking remote desktop. Some people say it's cheating, but you know what? He's having fun with ham radio, and that's what's important. It's not a serious hobby.
Yeah, that wasn't me.
You can be serious about it, but it's not a serious hobby.
I haven't done any on 20. It was either RC or Rick Parker down at Catahoula Parish. Yeah, RC was on the schedule much earlier today. Sure was. All right, Joe, we're going to keep running them because we're going to shut down, I think, at 11 tonight, another 30 minutes. All right, we'll let folks know that you're only on 40-meter FT8 at 7074. Maybe we can generate some more business for you. Okay, 73, Joe. Whiskey 5 Lima, QRZ.
Oh, I talked to him earlier. Got all excited.
It's got 2 megabytes? 2 megabytes, man. It's impressive. It's, okay, let's see. The cheapest I can find it.
2 megabytes.
$40 or even if I might as well buy it.
Fight the static from the storms in Texas. Kilo Echo Zero, Alpha Hotel Mike, Scott, in Washington Parish, commemorating the Louisiana Purchase.
At least it's not some fucking pro-Dixie stuff, I guess. I guess the Louisiana Purchase was still really hurtful to a shitload of Native Americans, but at least it wasn't like celebration of the Confederacy, special event station. In remembrance of the War of Northern Aggression. Alright, well the bands are winding down a little bit. We've had a great sesh. 2.5 hours. Didn't even notice. Time flies when you're having fun. So, I'm going to have one more when I'm here in town. That'll be Saturday at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. That is 2100 GMT. If you don't know how to convert GMT to local, find out, because in the world of radio, that's our clock. So everybody have a great time for the next couple days. We're going to be back Saturday at 3 p.m. That'll be my last sesh here in the home studio, and then we'll be going on the road for one. And next Thursday we'll be live from San Francisco. Bring a little portable setup and see what fun we can have out of a basically 6-floor hotel room on the coast of the Pacific Ocean. So, good to see everybody. We had a great time tonight. We'll see you in a couple days. Peace out.
Thank you.